Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Swipe up. This is episode 159 of the show where I talk about current events and my thoughts about them, my opinions on them, things that are going on around the world. Let's get into it, shall we, with a big protest that happened in Washington, D.C., people protesting for women's rights, abortion rights. Of course, Texas really trying to turn back time, try and make abortion legal through these creating working through loopholes in the system to virtually make something illegal that they can't make illegal. And it's causing issues, and there's a lot of protesting. But there's no storming of capitals. There's no people out there killing people. It's people doing what their First Amendment right gives them a freedom to do, which is protest, peacefully protest. Unlike some people that require a bazooka to order a sandwich at Subway. These are people actually fighting for my body, my choice, not just some excuse to kill their neighbors and their friends. It's sad that we're in a time where politicians are actively making freedom harder to come by, and that people have to protest in these huge numbers. That's another thing that's mind-blowing. From the last summer, a year and a half ago, the George Floyd protests, you saw just massive amounts of human beings out in the streets. Massive amounts of human beings. But then you see these right-wing anti-mask, anti-vaccine protests, and it's these small amount of people that are causing havoc. I mean, a week ago, there was an anti-vax rally, forget where it was, and there was a testing site that got trashed because of it. There's Proud Boy marches where they trash property. And they're not even huge amounts of people. These are probably the same people that go out during these protests, the actual protests for human rights, and they cause problems. They're not there to overturn abortion laws. They're there as an opportunity to not only cause destruction, but to have that destruction blamed on people that are politically different from them. That's what it feels like. Because you don't see the amount of people, if the right-wing protesters, the anti-vax, anti-mask people, if they had the numbers that are going out and protests similar to this, if they had those numbers, then towns would be destroyed. Because that's just how violent those people are. They're they're protesting for selfish reasons. Because they don't want to have to be burdened with putting a mask on their face because they're so fragile. So anyway, good protest. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Hopefully, there's anti-protest laws in a lot of places to make that to justify police going out and shooting people and gassing people and using things that are not you can't do in wartime battles. You can't gas another country when you're at battle with them, but apparently you can do that to citizens of this country. Anyway, let's move on to some fun stuff. Not as much shit talking in this one. I'm trying to not have, I like to not be angry all the time, even though there's a lot of things to be angry about. But let's move on to some fun stuff, right? Here's a little thing of actors and actresses that have never been married. I'm 40 years old. I've never been married. I don't really have a desire to get married. I certainly have no desire to have children. I'm barely at a place in my life where I can have a relationship, right? I've been so focused on my work that like I don't it would be just a major distraction for so many years. Although I'm kind of becoming more lenient with that. I'm trying to see how I can exist and maybe have a relationship at the same time. However, I'm not looking for marriage. I'm not looking for kids, and these are actors and actresses that are not looking for marriage. Starting off with Leonardo DiCaprio, who is 46 years old. There's Charlize Theron, who's 46 years old also. You got Chris Evans, 40. Winona Ryder, 49. You got Al Pacino, 81. I mean, I don't really care about celebrities or their gossip or their personal lives. Really doesn't affect me much, but it's interesting. Al Pacino. Diane Keaton, 75. Jared Leto, 49. And Allison Janney at 61. Like, it feels good for somebody. I'm sure that, like, there's a lot of people that would feel bad if they were my age. They're 40 years old. Going to be 41 pretty soon. Somebody 41 and never married. For some people, it feels like marriage is like a must. It is a prerequisite for living a full life. Like, you must have some kind. You must have like a government contract binding you. You must have some religious ceremony of some sort. You must wear jewelry that has been exchanged. It's bizarre. For why? For why? I mean, I get like tax reasons. Yeah, maybe. But like most marriages don't last. Wearing a ring or having a contract doesn't guarantee somebody's going to stay monogamous. Doesn't guarantee that they're going to be faithful. It's just like this weird cultural thing that's happened and that just keeps happening. It's as ridiculous as chocolate eggs are on Easter. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess it makes a little bit more sense than that, but it just, for me, it doesn't. And I'm glad, that there's a lot of actors out there and actresses that have their own reasons for not getting married. It's fine. I saw another post from the same from Phil Magic of actors and actresses that have been married multiple times, and that's way more like the person that's gotten married like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. That's crazy to me. That's so crazy to me to be like, because it's not like it's like to just the paperwork involved of getting married, let alone divorced. I can't imagine, like, breakups are bad enough. Breakups with a kid are bad enough. But then you bring in like marriage, you have to like legally do things. Just like, it's ridiculous. You have to sign paperwork to break up with somebody. And then you do it multiple times. Especially like if you're a famous actor that makes a lot of money, and then like every marriage, you have how many alimony checks are you writing away? Like, I don't understand how anybody does that. I can't even afford my own life, let alone. I mean, I guess if I got married and divorced, I would most likely be getting the alimony check. Although I don't know how likely that is for dudes to get alimony checks. But anyway, it's nice to see that, there's marriage isn't for everybody. There's no rules to how you live your life. You don't have to get married. You don't have to go to college. You don't have to have children. You don't have to work for a corporation your entire life and get a pension at the end, which I guarantee most people don't get pensions. Most people don't even work at companies their whole life anymore. But anyway, this like these rule sets that people have of like, oh, you got to do this, and then you got to do that, and then you got to do that. Like, no, there's no rules. No rules. Come on. There's like human decency. There's laws. Yeah. But like, you don't have to live your life. If you want to, if you're 40 years old and you hate your job, you hate your life, and you've always wanted to be an artist or in a creative field, like there's nothing stopping you from just doing that. Aside from fear. Fear keeps most people from doing anything. Excuses created by fear. You instead of being creative in a productive way, you creatively think of reasons why not. I do that with plenty of stuff in my life. Think of reasons why not. But that's also because, I don't need to pile on shit. Less is more. A little over 4 years ago, I started The Many Faces. It's an ongoing series of abstract ink portraits. Each piece is improvised. Each piece is released daily. Start collecting now. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. And save yourself 25% when you use coupon code RTS. That stands for The Ray Taylor Show, because that's what you're listening to, and I love you. So I want you to save 25% when you use that coupon code. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF and use coupon code RTS to save 25% when you start collecting one of over 1,600 original ink paintings. By myself, I made them. Support me. I love you. Back to the show. Let's move on to a little piece of trivia, a little information. Of course, everybody has seen, is watching Squid Game. Great show on Netflix. Highly recommend checking it out. But a part of that show, basically, these people who are hard up for money decide to take a chance and go play some child games in an attempt to win the big prize at the end, to be the last person standing. And the first game that they play is a childhood game called Red Light, Green Light, which is also one of the few games they play in the show that I actually have played. And it's this giant doll that has cameras in her eyes that turns around and puts her head up against a tree, and then when she says green light, just turn around. Then she's red light. She turns around and sees who's moving, and then things happen. You get eliminated. That doll actually exists. Let me read this. According to Caribou, the actual doll guards a horse carriage museum near Seoul, and was borrowed by Squid Game producers. A replica now also stands at a crosswalk in Manila, where she plays the red light, green light song and swivels her head to monitor jaywalkers. That's actually terrifying. If you've seen Squid Game and what happens when she catches you moving, bad things happen. So, that's a little. That would actually be hilarious if those were just like traffic lights. It was another post I saw this morning. It's kind of a Netflix post about it was a traffic sign, and it's like, remember what happens when you keep moving after a red light. There's something about how the rules of Squid Game hit different, or how traffic lights hit different after Squid Game. That's just it. The show is so inventive and so interesting and so cool, and I guess not surprising that a thing like that actually exists. But yeah, kind of some fun trivia that's a real thing. I know this episode of Swipe Up has been without my anger, so let's end with this. Moving on, let's end with this last post. Body cam video shows Minneapolis police hunting protesters. Body cam footage released this week shows Minneapolis police bragging about hunting, quote-unquote, hunting protesters with rubber bullets during demonstrations in the days following the police murder of George Floyd. So during those protests, like the ones I talked about in the first post, peaceful protests, shit popping off. But I think, a lot of the destruction that happened during those protests were people that want to destroy stuff. And a lot of those people that want to destroy stuff don't care about Black Lives Matter. They don't care about anything but destroying stuff. Police are kind of in that camp of like wanting to destroy stuff, particularly humans. They want to destroy humans, whether it's by murder or maiming or gassing, beating, removing them from their freedom, locking them in cages. There's a lot of destruction that comes, a lot of terrorizing that the police do. And the fact that they were caught on camera hunting protesters is absolutely disgusting. And I'm very glad that a lot of these places are having vaccine mandates. So a lot of those people that fall into that camp of very selfish, unaware, uneducated, harmful to the population are being fired. And that's a great way to defund the police. It's a great way to get a lot of these cops out of the police departments is mandating the vaccine. Because a lot of the people that would want to terrorize innocent citizens are also the same people that don't want to wear masks. They don't want to get vaccinated. They don't want to do anything that would be beneficial to their fellow man. They want to do what's only right for them, what they feel is right for them in their most selfish way. And it's absolutely disgusting. These police. Footage released this week shows Minneapolis police hunting. Tonight it was, these is in quotes, tonight it was just nice to hear. We're going to go find some more people. Instead of chasing people around, one officer off camera can be heard saying, I read that horribly, quote unquote, we're going out hunt. You guys are out hunting people now, and it's just nice change of tempo. God, my ability to read is just horrible. We're going out hunt. We're going out hunt. You guys are out hunting people now, and that's just a nice change of tempo. So apparently officers appear to treat the streets like an active war zone and protesters like enemy combatants. So yeah, it's a bunch of dudes that they want the reality of Call of Duty. That's how they value human life so little that they want to it is disgusting. Disgusting. Police are terrorists. Police are terrorists. This is normal for them. This is like an opportunity of a lifetime for them to go out and kill people. Right? They watch they watch the Purge franchise from a different perspective. That's not a horror film for them. That's like a wet dream. That is like pornography. To be able, their biggest dream, I guarantee you, is that the government would allow one day where they can go out and just kill people. Guaranteed. The majority of people out on a purge night would be police officers, because the police officers, there's no good apples in terrorist organizations. There are no. They eliminate good apples from those organizations. It's a terrorist organization. And they shouldn't be getting tax dollars to be terrorists, to kill people, to shoot people with rubber bullets. And it's not like the rubber bullets. They're like metal. They're giant caliber metal bullets that are just happen to be covered in rubber. It's like getting a softball shot at your head. Brain damage, broken bones, trauma, death. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. They should give them paintball guns. Just give them paintball. Those hurt. Those hurt. I don't think they're really going to stop people, but they shouldn't be out there shooting protesters with. I mean, it's absolutely inhuman, disgusting behavior, and they should all be put in jail. Every one of these police officers should be in prison. They should not be employed. by any job that would allow them to own a gun or any kind of firearm. They probably shouldn't be allowed to drive. They should be put in a cage with the rest of the criminals, with people who don't value human life. Absolutely disgusting. One of these guys are pussies, one of the officers says to Sergeant Andrew Battelle, whose body cam captured one of the videos released. You get within 30 feet of them, and they just run. Yeah, exactly, Battelle responds. You got to hit them with the 40s, referring to the rubber bullets fired from 40-millimeter grenade launchers. Pussies. I'd love to see these cops be hunted. These cops, if they want to be in war so bad, fucking go. How many countries are we occupying? Go to Afghanistan. Go where? Get the fuck out of here. If you want to hunt humans so bad, and I'm sure most of them tried to go to the military, and the military wouldn't allow them. Or they were, and they got released. They go home, and because they are former military, they get a job at the police officers. It's just, these are disgusting human beings. And everybody that supports them with their modified American flags of back the blue, they are supporting terrorism. Plain and simple. They might as well fly an SS flag or a Nazi flag or whatever the Taliban fly. Fly whatever enemy flag you want to fly and carry your guns to go buy your fast food. The weakest of humans that should not have access to a tool that allows the elimination of human life with the ability of their curling of their finger. Disgusting. Disgusting. Their entire family, anybody related to a cop, should be ashamed. Because that's the organization that those people are a part of and support and protect. They support an organization that actively terrorizes innocent citizens for their First Amendment right. Fuck the Second Amendment. First Amendment. Stupid. That's it, people. Let's do some shout-outs and get out of here. Shout out to ABC News. Shout out to Film Magic, The Film Magic. Shout out Slash Film. Shout out Vice News. And most importantly, shout out to you. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!